Hello everybody and welcome to the show Pathways of Life. This is the episode number 2 and the people that decide to take part in this conversation today is Marco Bonifacio di Marzo. Emanuele Nusca is me and is with you in this emission made to tell something I believe is very useful to know. The purpose of Pathways of Life is to share news, feelings, emotion, discoveries and things that need to be said in this particular moment in time we are living in. As I like to say, knowledge is power, so let's share our knowledge to improve our power. I guess it's a good thing to do. And if you want to take part to this conversation, to add comments, ideas, replies, or whatever you want to add or ask us, please get in contact with us on Facebook, Google+, or YouTube, or where we usually are. Okay, ciao Marco, hi, welcome.
Hi everybody.
How are you today?
I'm kind of tired, but everything is fine.
Everything is fine. So, Marco, before we get into the topic of this emission, we would like to know who are you a little bit. So maybe people can know your history and then why you are telling us all these stories. You will, Prego.
Yes, I should do this because few times I did some, let's say, English interview were not wonderful because, hey, I tell you straight away, I got a problem because many English people, when they listen to me, they even if it's, let's say, interesting on something, but it's a kind of enjoyable when they talk. It's a kind of funny for me to, when I hear myself speak in English. So really, if I laugh, don't worry, if I laughing about myself, nothing else, because really it's funny for me too to listen to myself to speak English. Anyway, about myself, really, I'm everything but an academic, because I left the school, dropped out the school when I was really 15, but really already when I had 16, I studied already logic, scientific method, calculus probability. I started to write already by 17 my own mathematics system. I could easily write, let's say, application of the third calculus probability on cards game, or pretty much everything else, even the scientific method, because let's say the third interpretation of probability, the propensional, really is very important. There's no teaching in the school. They still keep teaching about the classic one and the frequentistic, but the propensional I haven't seen nowhere around. I think 2016 is about time we teach the right thing. And look, I started everything by myself because really I have not even the money to go to school. In Italy, you have to pay to go to school. So I said, look, I'm too smart for you. I studied mathematics already, logic, when I was 16. So when I listened to the teacher, I was desperate. I said, man, these people, that's really believe the crap they say. Really. I said, anyway, that's my plan. Then I left Italy because I go to work, let's say, in foreign country. Let's say I work in Germany, France, USA. But most of my time I work 15 years in England as a chef, pizza chef, pasta chef, baker, and most of the time when I finish to work, just come back home and I keep studying everything. So I studied also a lot of genetic, I studied a lot of the history of Middle Age in Europe, the real one, also the real history of the Italian, especially Neolithic, from Neolithic to Roman Empire. I studied a lot of the real Semitic people, both history and genetic, and all the sapiens, also the real history of South America. So really, this I don't know how long it's going to be this interview. Perhaps really 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. Because I'm getting old, but look, it will be very interesting for both black people, because they will know really. I decided to call this episode a kind of black hidden history, because the common line for everything, say South America, North America too, Middle East, Europe and Asia, well, it's pretty much about either black history be hidden, destroyed, or stolen by white people. Because man, when you know the real history of Middle Age in Europe or the South American, you will know that really many history, like even Roman Empire, Greek Empire, have been made by black people. So either black African, black Semitic, or Negroid from all the haplogroups. What the white man did in the last 400 years is just turn everything white. It's called, let's say, whitewash. So let's say you make everybody white before them. So let's say, even for instance, when they say the Sumerian people, let's skip with this because you just say a personal introduction. So if you want, we can get
but
start with the first question.
Of course. Of course, your history, I think, is a part of the journey, so it's important because your history brings you to this knowledge and these studies. So it's very interesting what you are going to say today because you just told me something in advance. So to start, maybe I think it's better you tell us what is about these new studies about DNA, what these haplogroups are, and what DNA groups are, the difference, if you can tell us this, because I think it's very important to understand what will follow.
Yes, it's not easy to be brief on this, but I'll try to. So let's start with this. Let's say till 2013, let's say with the best, let's say, mathematical and genetic knowledge, let's say we had Andy, let's say everybody was pretty much sure that the first sapiens, so we sapiens with the full 100% human DNA, was, let's say, old, let's say anything around 120,000 years. And let's say, look, it was difficult to argue because we had no other empiric data. But then at some point, what's up? Let's say the anno zero, really the X day, the 0 day of the genetic was when in 2013 was found a man from really a different haplogroup that the scientists never knew about before. Let's say before this, the oldest haplogroup was the A0. A was the one 120,000 years old. He was obviously a Negroid from Central Africa, that's what they say from. But when we found out about this in 2013, we found out a new haplogroup is the so-called A00. And by combining mathematics and, let's say, the propensional interpretation of probability, really, with genetic, we can clearly say that this sapiens with a full 100% DNA, 0% Neanderthal gene, is at least 350,000 years old. And he was a Negroid, so pure Negroid from Central Africa. And that's already quite a news because everybody think about the first sapiens as a Neanderthal just turned human, but that happened really matter of 40,000 years ago. That's how the Caucasian race started, which is that's why the oldest, let's say, either white Caucasian or Indo-European race ethnicity is not older than really 45,000 years. The oldest, let's say, black, so either black African, Negro, Negroid race is at least 350,000 years. So, man, that's very easy. So it means that for 300,000 years, the black people have been alone on this planet, probably was a peaceful planet. Then at some point, all the mess started when the Caucasian arrived, because I'm not making this up, because really, even when I will tell you specific about some specific haplogroup, you will say that let's say all the immigration or combination or the interbreeding are pretty much peaceful. There is no genetic data that can point out there was any war or something, so that could be possible. Let's say the mess probably started with the Caucasian, but let's skip this for this. Let's skip this for later. So first sapiens ever, really, there's no doubt about it, was a Negroid from Central Africa all the 350,000 years. After that was the A00. Then after that, look, I'm not going to tell you one by one, like the A0, the A1, the A2, but let's say at some point we got different, let's say, haplogroup, so different from this A group. At some point we got let's say, the so-called the pygmy, and that's already a different group, the B group. So the first obviously is the A group, and then all the haplogroup would be A1, A2, A0, A4. Then at some point the pygmy came on the planet, and that's the B group. So at some point what's happened? Some lineage of the A group kept, I don't know to say untouched. Some lineage of the B group, same thing, keep untouched, didn't intermix with other. At some point, some Negroid from group A interbreed with pygmy from group B. And what we got is So at the beginning we got a single haplogroup called the BT, which is obviously the first after the B, then the BT, and the BT, let's say, is the father of the CT that I will explain you later. And then what's up? This combination of a Negroid, they were kind of tall, a Pygmy were kind of tall, short. And so what we got then after that we got many different mix that they can have a different combination. So let's say somebody could be tall as a Negroid of group A with the face appearance of a Pygmy. Or the other way, it could be a Pygmy, somebody tall as a Pygmy, but with the face more look like a Negroid from group A. But that's, as I say, just after the T. And then, so everything happened in Africa. And the first people to get out of Africa and go to China, and this is very interesting, was a specific haplogroup. And really, about this, genetic, really, we're still not sure if this group started originally in China or it started in Africa and then not intermixing with nobody, really, not even a single blowjob, they just left all in mass and they went to China. And then obviously, they're in China, after that they created a new different haplogroup which is originally in China, like the CT, also the C, then I'm going to explain you better that. But really, one way or the other, what's up? The first sapiens get out of Africa. It was an intermix between Negro and Pygmy. He went to China. So in China, we developed the so-called Negroid, the Oriental Negroid, or China's Negroid, but it's more correct called an Oriental, let's say, Negroid. It was somewhere around China. And look, this Negroid from China is the father, let's say, of all Semitic people. By Semitic people, look, let's say, if you don't like the Bible name, is like people with haplogroup originated in Middle East. So all the Middle East people, let's say, the ancient Arab, the haplogroup E1A, the Black Semitic, E1A, they all become from this common ancestor, which was the first, as I say, Negroid Africa, Negroid Central Africa, Pygmy South Africa, mix go to China, Negroid, mix Negroid Pygmy from China, then they move to Middle East, and from this they come, so let's say, all the Semitic people have as a father, the old Semitic people, because the modern is kind of different, and as a father, let's say, also it's not called the genetic term, but as a father, let's say, the Negroid from China, and the Negroid from China was, as a father, the Negroid originally a Pygmy from Africa and Central and South Africa. And I also read about this, that at some point this Oriental Negroid, so the Chinese Negroid, not the African, but perhaps also the African, went already to South America, really, at least really 100, even more, 1,000 years ago, and they developed many civilizations. As a matter of fact, the real Olmec, so Olmec is not correct name, should be the Xi people, because they are originally from China. They are the first native of the America. And the first place they went were near South America, let's say, all the area from Peru, Bolivia, could be later also Mexico, but mainly South America. And so already, in fact, as a matter of fact, already if you combine the word Olmec, you got Mexico. So that's why the native, also the name America, the real meaning of America is the Amerindu, which is the tribe of the Amaru. Amaru were original Negro-Semitic people. And look, it's different from the Amara tribe from Africa. Amara, most of them are black African with the gene E3B. The gene E3B is 24,000 years old. He is born in Ethiopia. He is the youngest among all the black people either originated in Africa, Asia, or Middle East. As I said, the older is 350. Also, the one Ethiopia is kind of confusing for many people, because at the same time is the place of origin of the black African ethnicity, the E3B, the black African gene. But at the same time, even before the black African gene ethnicity started, in Ethiopia we have already many different, it's even a royal family, civilization. But look, if something is older of 24,000 years, He definitely cannot be made by a black African. It could be a black people, but not the black African. It could be the black Semitic, the Negro Semitic, the black, the Negro Oriental. Perhaps also the Arab, because the original Arab from haplogroup E1A were black. The original Arab were black. I tell you this, and then we go on. At some point in South America, 20,000 years ago, they live, let's say, all the black people, let's say, like a kind of, let's say, the royal family of all the black people of all the world. But because at that time, let's say, the white Caucasian either didn't exist yet, or they're still playing with bananas somewhere in Caucasus, or really, they were totally uncivilized people. White people have been civilized literally by black or by Negro in many different time of history. And then what they did, they steal all their history and they make it white. They say, look, I'm the one who went there, I'm the one who did this, but look, that man was a black man, and they make it white. So it's a big black hidden history that covers all continents, North America, South America, Africa, obviously, because Africa had not one or two, dozens of civilizations, the Timbuktu, the Yoruba, the Mandinka, I know pretty much one by one all of them, long before the Caucasian started. So let's say then I stop, around, let's say, between 40 and 30,000 years, let's say the more, let's say, white people was the native Indian of India, of haplogroup F. So really, think about an Indian today, that man 20, 30,000 years was like a Swedish today, like a blonde people. They look at it and say, mamma mia, this is very dark. But even Caucasian people, let me say the other thing, even if the two most, let's say, famous haplogroup R1A, R1B are born in Caucasus, but the origin of the R group are in China. It's around 35, 40,000 years ago. Then they moved to Caucasus. Then, they went. The R2 went down to North India. The R1 went to Europe. At some point near the Caucasus, they split in R1A, R1B, and then these people are right to Europe. As I say, even in the Roman time, they were very primitive, the white people in Europe, and the people who civilized were the black Africans, so the Etrurian, many old population, even the native of Italy, were black. The Etrurian were black people, were not Caucasian, and they civilized the white people. Also in the Middle Age, once Rome fell by the Visigoth, by the Caucasian, by other Caucasian, because all the Visigoth, the Goth, the Frank were all Caucasian people. They destroyed Rome. They destroyed everything in the Middle Age. White people in Europe were really dirty, ignorant, uncivilized, and who came to the rescue again? Black people again, but this time not black African, but one of, let's say, Roman Empire, because Roman Empire was African, and then I tell you everything, but this was a black Semitic. In fact, the so-called Negro, Negro is a specific race, ethnicity, is from Middle East. So the best way is to keep the name Negro from the specific haplogroup E1A1A, and call Negroid all other before, so Negroid from haplogroup A, let's say the C group from China and everything. In fact, as a matter of fact, the royal dynasty of Moor, they first went to Portugal, Spain, and then South Italy too. They came from Africa, but they were not black Africa. They speak Arab, but they were not Arab. They adopt some, let's say, Muslim religion, ceremony or culture, but they were not 100% Muslim. And also they were Muslim, but they never imposed the Muslim religion to European people. They left freedom of religion. And the real people who brought science, mathematics, even medicine, even politics and everything, again, in Europe from zero, in Middle Age, were black Semitic people. And they were all the Moor dynasty, the dynasty of the Moor, the Moorish dynasty. These people were not black African, as many people believe it wrong, but they were black Semitic. So, as a start, we can...
Wow, yeah. So this is basically a rewriting of all the history we know up to now. So I just would like to ask you, Marco, what are the sources of this information so different from anything we have? So basically everything comes from 2013 when these new discoveries about DNA were made, or there are others that speak about this? Where we can have sources about this?
Wrong question, because there is not such a thing as a unique link that can tell you all. It took me 25 years to understand everything. And look, I can tell you, if you want to really study genetic, really, for me, the two best professors found, really, because I always follow them, as the Professor Cavalli Sforza and the Dr. Scozzari. Look, especially the Dr. Scozzari, for me is the best, because every time I read from him, I say, look, he's right. Because everything, even the time lineage, or when the split between BT and CT happen, or between A0 and A00, look, anytime I see the best hypothesis of all the genetics around the world, I don't know why, the empiric data tell to me that the Scozzari is the best, but also the Professor Cavalli Sforza, but there are many people. But my favorite is Professor Scozzari. About the real history of Middle Age, look, you want some link, you don't need links, just go around all the church, and you will see the real church, the old one, and you will see that all people like Jesus Christ or Saint Nicholas, everybody are black. And that was the original, that is the original color, because all painted. You never ask yourself why all sculptors in Rome, they got a broken nose. Because by the nose you understand the ethnicity. So all the public statue in Rome, they remove the nose, because otherwise people will understand that the emperor of Rome, like Septimus Severus, Costantino, Nerone, so Nero, but so many, they were black African. And Costantino is very important. Costantino was a black African, was from the royal family of Ethiopia. While Costantino was emperor of Rome, his brother was the king of Ethiopia. Costantino came from the royal family of Ethiopia. He was not the only one. As I say, really, there are so many. Now, I don't tell you about, let's say, Septimus Severus. Septimus Severus was a kind of first in the 193 AC. But even before, let's say, there are a lot of history of Rome. They are connected with the black people, because as I told you, the first Etrurian king of Rome, the seventh king of Rome, were Etrurian. Etrurian were black African. So also the native of South Italy, they were black African. All the people like, even the Messapi, they were all black African. As a matter of fact, if you want, I tell you this, that not even Italian people know, the origin of the name Italy is from Etrurian. Etrurian are black Africans, so the black people first give the name Italy to Italy. Italy in Etruria means the land of the seven volcanoes. I studied more than about the written language. I studied more than 20, 25. I don't count. Studied most of them, really. I just miss some African language, but I studied a lot of them.
So, just a question pops up into my mind. What do you think that was the cause then that all these black expert civilization and civilized people fall under the white domain? Why they
cover the history? Look, I'm a scientist, I'm not a strategist, so I can never guess about. But look, obviously, it's not specific about something. It's also something specific about some specific black ethnicity. But I'm not sure I can go public on this yet. But let's say the reason most important is to keep everybody, black and white, under control. Because once the real history goes out, it will be difficult to control the black. If the black got free, then everyone else can, let's say, get free. But look, I don't like to talk about strategy or about who did this, but there.
Of course. I just asked you.
Was that the question?
I just asked you your idea about it. Of course, nobody up to now knows the truth and why this, why that.
I can tell you this, that among the four different ethnicities, let's say the native of Africa, native of Middle East, Caucasian, and Indo-European, probably they did a whitewash, because among all the four different ethnicities, the most easy to manipulate is the Caucasian. Look, I'm not saying that they're all white are stupid, but if you try some technique of manipulation, or Native African or Semitic, maybe if you try on 10, maybe one is gonna fall. For that. If you do on a white Caucasian, maybe out of 10, maybe 9, they're gonna be Not because they are stupid, because the way they are, even the neurobiology of their brain, the biochemic, the DNA, it makes it not easy, but there is, let's say, a way that if you know how to do it, even with the trauma as a child, to make it a perfect slave, a perfect, in fact, if you see why all the people in command, in banking, military, in the West are all white, because they use it really, they use the white Caucasian race as a slave race, just as the front of the people to make everybody convinced that everybody is white. Sumerian were the first civilization of art 6,000, 10,000 years ago. Maybe that was the first Caucasian civilization. But we have, before the Sumerian, we have at least 1,000 civilization, black civilization, and pretty much everywhere in the world, from Japan, China, obviously Africa, South America, North America too, Central Asia, pretty much everywhere, even the native, not only the native of Italy, as I told you, just after the little glaciation, were pretty much black African. But it's also true that in Sardinia we have some specific, small percent of a specific gene that from the A haplogroup. Sardinia is one of the few places in the world outside Africa where the A haplogroup is still present, even with small percent, but still present. And look, I tell you without a problem, I'm from South Italy. I never felt myself as a European or Italian or Caucasian or white. I always felt myself like I'm from North Africa, really. When I see a French or German, I look at him like a cousin, really. No hard feeling with them. But look, when I see an African or a Semitic or an Arab, really, it looks like my brother. As a matter of fact, another important thing about the genetic haplogroup of Italy, many all Italians, they think they are European or Caucasian. This is crap. North of Italy, most of North Italian are R1B, so Caucasian. So it could be 60%, 70%, but they are 70%. Even in Emilia-Romagna, the peak is 80% of R1A. I'm not talking about 80% of people being R1A, but I'm talking about all the DNA, let's say, of the male combined. The average you get is 80% R1A and 20% other, either Indo-European, other Caucasian, or other also Semitic. But the South Italian, look, the truth about South Italian, we are not Caucasian, we are not white, we are not European, we are Afro-Semitic people, because we have an average of 25% of E3B, the Black African gene, and the peak are in Sicily and Puglia. I'm from Puglia, where is, let's say, at least 25% of average. And then all other haplogroup, they are pretty much everything from the F, the Indian, the G, H from Middle East, the other Middle East, other Semitic, other Indo-European. We got also some Caucasian. We got really one of the most complete haplogroup DNA in the world are the South Italian, not all Italian, the South Italian, because we had at least really about the 12 group and no less than 20 haplogroup. So we got the J1, the J2, the H1, the E1, the F, the F1, the F2, the R1A, the R1B, the E3B, the Black Africa. Basically, people from South Italy have all the four different genes. So we got the Black African, the Semitic, the Caucasian, and the Indo-European. And I tell you, my personal reason of the real reason they did the genocide in South Italy in 1860, so 1860 was not the unity of Italy, but it was to specifically kill the South Italian, because people from South Italy, we intermix with both Black African and Black Semitic, so we had a very high incidence of Black African gene, but specifically of the Black Semitic gene. And look, the history of the Black Semitic, the Negro Semitic, is very important because, look, I know this might sound unbelievable to Beni, but I tell you, the real Hebrew Israelite of the Bible are not white, are not blue eyes, are not Caucasian, are not white skin, are not European. The original Hebrew Israelite of the Bible are the Negro Semitic people, specifically all the people that belong to the Y DNA haplogroup E1B1A. Then the gene could be the EV38 or the EM2, but the haplogroup, but the haplogroup of the real Hebrew Israelite of the Bible is the E1A, the Negro Semitic. And specifically, I tell you another about all the Negro living today in North America, they believe they are black African of gene, let's say, Ethiopian, but they are not. They are the real Hebrew Israelite of the Bible, and specifically the tribe of Judah. The tribe of Judah are the Negroid that today living either in North America, also in Brazil, also in Ethiopia. We still have both black African, black Semitic, so the Negro, and also some Judah tribe for real. The real name of the Judah tribe is Yehuda, because the modern Hebrew is not the real Hebrew of Moses, Abraham, and the Torah. The real Hebrew, both spoken and written, I studied a lot. For me, it's the best language in the world, because all their frequency was, let's say, like the real name of Jesus was Yahawasha. So everything was based, let's say, Issachar, the one we call Issachar, let's say, one of the tribe, the 12 tribe. The real name in original Hebrew is Yashashka. So, as you say, is everything based on the A, and the A, like even Mamma in Italian, is 432 hertz. So the Hebrew language, this is probably is a worldwide anticipation, because I never heard, I'm the first to say it in public, the Hebrew language, the spoken one, was based on 432 hertz, which is really one of the most harmonic frequency, one of the most peaceful and positive frequency of all. In fact, thanks to the 432 hertz, the two hemispheres of the brain, they got synchronized. Once the two hemispheres of the brain are synchronized, what's up? They sync with the near frequency. What is the near frequency? Is the frequency of the heart. So when the 432 make the hemisphere synchronize, they automatically synchronize with the heart. And really, the one that try to make some trouble is the cerebellum. Anyway, this is a long list. But anyway, there is a lot of things to be said about this. And look, I started lately understand exactly how the hijacking of the real Hebrew language happened. Look, the modern Hebrew, both spoken and written, has absolutely nothing to do with the original. Especially the written is totally different. The spoken has a little something in common, really. It could be like, I don't know, like Italian and French, let's say, to instance. But they are not clearly the same language, even spoken, because as I told you, the real Hebrew was all based on 432 hertz. All was Basar, Asha, Halassa, Yashashkar, Yahawasha, was all based on the A as a vocal, A as a sound. And that, as a matter of fact, all modern people live in Jamaica or in many in North America, when they talk, especially in Jamaica, they talk, my name is Junior Young Guest, blah. That is because the Jamaican people are also the real Hebrew Israelite of the Bible, and that's why they got the 432 and they're still talking like this. Look at Bob Marley, all the people, Dennis Brown, they really know who they are for real. You think they singing about themselves, the children of Israel, road to Zion, just like this. They know they are the real Hebrew Israelite. Look, they just tell you by message, by if you are smart, you understand. Even people like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, Thomas Sankara, all the many people from Africa and North America, they knew very well they were the real Hebrew Israelite on the Bible, but they couldn't go public a long time ago, because already for 1-2 years ago you try to go public with this, you get Mossad on your ass. So I guess 20-30 years ago was going to happen. So that's why now I'm starting to go public with this, because first of all I got a lot of empiric data to prove, and look, I don't know what to say, the gig is about to end. The carnival, the white carnival is about to finish, so I'm sure, because I've seen things around, that very soon we will know the true history about the real Hebrew Israelite of the Bible. I tell you now, I know really, literally one by one all the tribes in Africa that are Negro Semitic. I can tell you like the Bamileke tribe. Bamileke, look, has nearly 100% of incidence of the same gene, the Negro Semitic, E1A1A, is probably the most Hebrew people on the planet. They are them, the tribe of Bamileke, but also the Yoruba, the Mandinka. Also, the people, some people live in Nigeria, the Igbo are not black African as the other Nigerian. They are black Semitic, they are Negro Semitic, but also the Igbo, the Igbo, also the people of the past, the Bantu tribe were Negro Semitic, were not black African. Also, as I said, the Yoruba, the Yehuda, the Mandinka, and look, I can tell you already, also the Vas, the Tut, I can tell you already one by one, all of them. Let's say also the Batussi, they are called this because they were a mix between the Vas tribe and the Tutsi. And both the Vas and the Tutsi are real Negro Semitic, so real Hebrew people. Look, I tell you very easy. The Vas the Tut and the Va are very small people, so they are still Negro Semitic with the E1, A1A, but they kept more the pygmy, eye, the physical. But let's say the other tribe, like more tall, like the Batus, like the Bas with the S, not the Ba, the Batussi, and that's are Negro Semitic, as I say, but different some tribes, but they are very, very tall. So it doesn't matter if you are tall or small, you can be really a Negro Semitic either way, or Black African either way. But yeah, that's very interesting too. Almost every single tribe in Africa, about all of them, which one is Black African, which one is Negro Semitic. I studied all the oldest haplogroup A and B, and they are still present today. The tribe with the oldest genetic haplogroup in the world are still in Central Africa. The Dan tribe of Namibia, there are a lot of them. They still have the haplogroup A and B, not just 5 or 10%, but many people still have the A and B haplogroup as a main group. So it means 40%, 50%, whatever it is, but no, the haplogroup is bigger than that, because I tell you this. To understand the ethnicity of somebody, you have to see the single haplogroup with a higher number. So if you have 60% R1A, 40% E3B, obviously you are a Caucasian from R1A. But if you have, let's say, 40% E3B, 30% R1A, and 30% R1B, it's wrong to say, you put R1A, R1B together is 60-40. No, that's crap. You have to keep the single haplogroup divided and see which one is the bigger. So if it's 40, 30, 30, even if 30 and 30 are from the same group, by different haplogroup, that doesn't mean enough. It means that you are 40, so if 40% was E3B, you are a Black African of 40% with 60% of Caucasian haplogroup. And to better understand this, let's say like this, the original Egyptian, this will be very long list. First of all, we wrongly call Egyptian. That civilization was called Kemet. The name Egypt was given by Greek. It was to make misunderstood on purpose, because also Greek people with Egyptian, with Sumerian and Babylonian were involved in the big hijacking of the Hebrew language. I studied all about it. We're not going to talk today because it's very long history. The Greek people give the name Egyptian as the same as Ethiopian, because the real name of the Ethiopian were the Kushite. And look, the one we call Egyptian, the one who built the pyramid, were not neither Egyptian neither the Kemet. The Kushite started. The Kushite are the original black people with the E3B gene, born 24,000 years ago. As a matter of fact, they start to build pyramids somewhere, all in Ethiopia, Sudan, Congo, pretty much Sudan, Congo, in fact the Nubian, they are the Nubian, and then went up to Ethiopia till followed the Nile, arrived to Egypt. But look, the confusion about I just tell you this, but going through the real Egypt, look, it's not in Africa. That was a name of another civilization somewhere else, and then at some point they call Egypt that piece of Africa, but that's not the real name, neither of the land and of the people. And also, very important thing, so you understand how the haplogroup work. The people who live in today in North Africa are not direct descent of the real Egyptian, because the real Egyptian were Black African with Black Arab as a main haplogroup, and with a very high incidence of Arab or Semitic group. And modern people who live in Egypt are exactly the opposite. Are Arab Semitic people with a high percent of African, but they also have European and Caucasian. So they are not the direct descent of black people. And as a matter of fact, Hollywood is always the white bullshit that when make a movie about Egypt, they make everybody's white. As I told you, everybody's white in Hollywood. Yeah, That's a funny thing. It's making everybody white. Even today, they have to do a movie about Michael Jackson. They will pick up a white actor. So, man, really, that's really a white bullshit.
Yeah.
And also, another very important thing, the real meaning of the Italian Renaissance. You know what is? Renaissance means, like reborn. Oh, I tell you, anybody think about Michelangelo, Leonardo, Raphael, be wonderful artists, genius. No, man, they were motherfuckers, because you know what they did? They did on purpose the artistic whitewash of the whole Europe. What I mean, if you see all artistic, either painting and sculpture, till the year 1100, 1200, everybody's black. So Charlemagne was a Negro Semite, was black. Frederick II, the king of South Italy, was black. Hebrew Israel, St. Nicholas, Moses, Abraham, everybody was black. Even Emperor Constantine, everybody was black. And so what they did in 1600, Renaissance, they make again all the painting depicting the black people, the original, like Abraham, Moses, Constantine, the king, emperor, even Pope. You have no idea how many Pope black we had before. Anyway, they make it white. And also the sculpture, they change the face lineage as negroid of black people, they make it Caucasian. So you look at the statue of Caesar and say, look, or Constantine, look, Constantine was white. No, man, Constantine was black, he was big like a football player. He was like American football player. Constantine was big and black, man, he was a black African. And so that's why, so Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael, Tizian, they're not even many other, even if not painter or sculptor, they are bastard because they did the whitewash, they did on purpose. If you want to tell you the truth, the Saint Inquisition was made in Spain to kill all the Negro people, because after that they used Spain to conquer the America, but was people in America, black and Negro, were there 100,000 years before, to impose the look like the Last Supper. Everybody's white, who made that, who imposed, was everything made on purpose. Also the iconoclastic time in Middle Age, as a crowd said, yeah, we destroy images because images were not holy. That's crowd, man. They destroy all the image depicting, the Virgin Mary or Jesus Christ as black, so they destroy literally everything.
Wow.
So the excuse was to get rid of Spanish or unfaithful people. That's also the Crusade. The real reason, historic of many things, was a war against the black Semitic, not the black Africa, because when they kill people in Africa, most of the time they kill the black Semitic, not the black, the Negro. Even the slavery, the one made in the 400 years ago, kind of still on, they didn't deport the black African people with the E3BG. They deport the Negro, the black Semitic, with the E1A1A gene. And look, I don't like to say about African, and when they did, they know very well. That's why they didn't help the Negro, because they were not good. They were not their same. They were not brothers. Let's say like this. They're both black, but at that time, black African never give a damn about black Negro. They let. Even if there was obviously no chance to go against the English Empire. Hey, even look, then we talk about the Middle Age of Europe. If you say something, let me brief, because it's almost 1 hour. Okay.
Yeah. No, well, I'm listening to you because you are like a stream going, and it's very difficult to stop you also because all the arguments you bring out are very well connected. And my mind is running around the world while you're talking, because I'm thinking that now, in effect, we are all well mixed during the history, so it will be very, very difficult to re-establish this truth. But, however, I think that this information you are bringing to us is very important and is very well connected with everything is going to happen in this period in time in the history where we discover that many things from the past are not really as we thought about it or we've been told about that.
Nothing is the way they say.
Yeah. So I think that you are telling us is very huge. And what is, so this is the question, in your opinion, of course, what do you think this discovery will bring to us? Yeah, this information, I mean, is very powerful. So because it will really change games and perspectives and and the knowledge we have about our history. But what do you think will be the transformation that this information will bring in our society?
Look, I rather stick with the empiric, provable stuff, because as I told you, I study logic and scientific method. What could be the reaction of the people once this info go public? Look, it's not, as I say, I can guess, but because
please.
It will be impossible to do a prevision on the mass reaction, because it's almost impossible to do a prevision on the individual reaction. So what the people's gonna do once this go public? If go public, look, as I say, look, let's stick on empiric.
We are trying to go public anyway. We put these things out.
Once this go public, you have to wait and see, because many people will get mad. Many people will won't accept. Many black people will start to say, "Oh fuck, you steal our history." And many white people will realize that they're not ruled the world for 4,000 years or but just 400 years, and then. Let's go to the real history of the Middle Age. If you want to say something, then I told you that. But
also,
I rather speak on empiric, provable stuff. So even ask about the reaction of the people. Look, you cannot guess about that, because really, as you say, it's very huge. So
because
it's going to be public. How can you do a prevision about the reaction of the people around the world? It's very difficult. But
I
can tell you my guess, but I really stick with the empiric, provable, scientific data.
I mean,
Popper,
based on what you said, what you just said, this means that sooner or later, and then I know that we have, for example, DNA test now available for everyone that really can discover who you really are, who you really come, where you really come from, who were your ancestors, and all of this. So basically, we can discover that white people are in reality black, but also the opposite, that maybe some black are mostly Caucasian inside or not. Can this happen or not?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. First of all, let's say the best way to describe the difference between Caucasian people who started 40,000 years ago and all others, so Indo-European, native of Middle East and native Africa, look, it's a kind of a paradox, because there is, at the same time, there is a sort of a continuum genetic lineage, so A, B, C, D, so even the R group, the Caucasian, the J2C, or the Caucasian, they are from the same tree, so they are clearly a genetic continuum, but at the same time, we have a biochemical difference, neurobiological difference, and man is the Caucasian, so not all the European, only the Caucasian, are so different from other that even if we have this continuum genetic lineage, really it's not wrong to talk about two different human species. One is the one that comprehend African Semitic, the real Semitic, the Indo-European, so the group F from India, and the Caucasian are so different that really should best to classify the different, and really to talking about two different species is not wrong. And look, I don't like to get into this, but look, when the Bible talk about the Son of Man, the Son of God, look, he's talking exactly about this. Very soon, when the Caucasian will know what the real the Bible is, he will be shocked, because he will understand who is the many names in the Bible. They really indicate not only a single man, but an ethnicity. So when he talk about Ham, with H-A-M, he's talking about the black African gene E3B. When he's talking about Jacob, and then was called Israel, that's the E1B1A. When he talk about the Ishmael, so the Arab, the original Arab, that's the E1A. So man, everything in the Bible, the most important thing on the Bible about me is not the alien, all the bullshit about the alien, the galactic starship. That could be true, could be not. Let's see another time. But the most important is talking specifically about race. The Edomite are the Caucasian. So even the Moab and the Ammonite, they're living in Canaan. Those are the Chinese and the Japanese. Look, I know it sounds strange, but the Moabite and the Ammonite are the Chinese, and in fact the original Chinese and Japanese were black. They become white because of the Mongolian invasion. The same thing, the original Arab was the E1A, it was a black Arab, so was black, not born in Africa, born, let's say, starting Middle East, but was not a Negroid, because he doesn't have the Negroid figure of the E1A1A. It was slightly before the E1A. And so it was the black Arab, was black, but not African and not even Negro, from the black African. And he become, let's say, the lighter, because he mixed with the Indo-European and Caucasian. But at the least, obviously, the Arab of today are obviously the direct descendant of the original Arab, which at the beginning they were black. The E1A were a black Arab. As a matter of fact, many famous people from Arab world of the past were black, but not black African, not black Semitic, but black Arab, because long time ago the Arab were black. I know this might sound unbelievable, but look, many things that I will say, even the first Sapiens Sapiens that I told you before, the one 350 years old, look, I saw a facial reconstruction. It's everything but primitive. It looked like Hollywood actor, like really, like Will Smith, or really, even people like Fishburne. Really, I can tell you, I can do this. I can tell you all the American actors, black, the famous one. I can tell you who they look like more. Like the Olmec I was talking about, really. Shaquille O'Neal looks like one of them. Really, that people were like that, were big. At some point, yeah, maybe not today, but I explain you. The first people with, let's say, the almond eye was a black Negroid with almond eye. So the common ancestor, all the people living today on this planet with almond eye, was a Negro with almond eye. And obviously, some people black cat that. As you see, Jamaican, have you seen the cut of the eye? All the black Semitic people, the Negro, have that kind of cut like Oriental, like Semitic. Why? Because they are Semitic. The thing is that among all black African, not have the almond eye, but among all black African ethnicity, the only one that have a kind of different shape of eyes were the Egyptian. So that's why the Egyptian were the only people in the past that were very easily confused with the black Semitic, with the Negro. As a matter of fact, when Paul, St. Paul, he was a Hebrew Israelite, so a Negro, went to Greece, Greek people look at him and say, look, this is an Egyptian. Because they the same color, same cut, but they don't know that the black Semitic was older and the Egyptian, they look like the Semitic and not the other way. Also, Jesus, why when they ran, they went to Egypt? Because they were black people, yeah, they were black, were there to run to Europe. Of course, they ran to Egypt. And so there is a lot of things that if you start asking yourself, you start to understand everything. The other thing you say about the people today, yes, you're right. Many people living today in Europe, they look themselves like they are white, but they could be either a black African with a really small incidence, like the Apulian and Sicilian people, because besides the albino, I'm going to explain you, a black African can, with a 30 or 25%, it could be the main haplogroup, so he's a black African as ethnicity, but it can look like exactly like an Italian today. And the Negro is even more complicated, because the Negro, even if he can keep the 60-70% of the same gene, it could be very light, because the black African is black, but the variety of both color and pigmentation of all the Semitic, but specific of the Negro Semitic, is huge. If you see many, let's say the basketball player, Black Griffin, the one with a kind of red hair and all the white skin, many people say that's a black with white skin, but it's not a black African. It's a black Semitic Negro with a very light skin and red hair. Also red hair is important. The first people with red hair was a Negro older than 100,000 years ago. The blonde start only in Caucasian, but really not even, really perhaps less than 10,000 years ago. Caucasian originally were not blonde, were I'm not saying dirty, but were kind of dark, and they get in blonde, let's say, with the time. It's really modern. But don't confuse the blonde people with the red hair. The red hair originally is older, at least 120,000 years old. The first people with the red hair was a Negro with the black hair. At some point, really, I'm not going to get into all the Negroid from Oriental, but I'm going to tell you Then the C haplogroup was a Negro, tall like a Jamaican, with the almond eyes and with the red long hair like dread. Just have a guess at this, have a guess a black, tall, with the almond eye with the red hair. And this was the C haplogroup. And I tell you, the people of Eastern Island, have you seen the statue? They are black, with the Negroid face and the red sphere on top. Man, that was his hair. He kept his red hair like that, like around. They kept that way. So that's why the fake Hebrew they try to do the hat like that. But that's his hat. The original Hebrew, that's his hair. But if you read the Bible talking about Hebrew having dreadlock, Ezekiel, Isaiah say, my skin is black. They say, when let's say the skin of Jesus was like something you just take out of a furnace. So if you start the Torah, if somebody really start, but not even start, just read the Torah, you will see trace everywhere that the real Hebrew Israelites are black. As a matter of fact, St. Nicholas, that is my number one saint. St. Nicholas is from Mira in Turkey, but St. Nicholas was a saint. He used to heal people with his hands. Used to protect the children. He was a real saint, help everybody. He became also the bishop of Myra when the Byzantine Empire, because the Byzantine Empire was made by Negro, even if then become Christian, but they were Negro-Semitic people. And St. Nicholas was a Negro-Semitic from Turkey, and look, in my city in Bari, we have the original statue, the original book, everything, and St. Nicholas is as black, really, is as black as a furnace, really. And look, people from Bari love St. Nicholas. As you know, really, if you try to go in the cathedral and try to steal or even just touch the original statue, man, you get 6 feet under in less than a few seconds. People from Bari, really. I strongly recommend if you go to Bari, don't talk shit about St. Nicholas, already you got killed because really we love St. Nicholas.
Yes, I know.
Believe in St. Nicholas. So you know that, but other people don't know. And St. Nicholas, look, go in the cathedral of Bari, and you'll see the original statue is black, really, it's black. There's nothing to doubt about.
Yeah,
yes, many people today are Negro, but they have a white or light skin, and they think they are Caucasian. That way is a kind of difficult, but it's possible, because the lineage of the man, every male son keep the haplogroup of the father. So if my haplogroup is E3B, I'm black African, it doesn't matter if I get a child, let's say, with a Swedish girl or Chinese or African. My son is going to have my same haplogroup, E3B. And the appearance, of course, if I get a child with a blonde Swedish or with a black haplogroup, with a Chinese white, of course the appearance will be totally different. But that's why it's almost impossible to look somebody and say, this people is like this. Yeah, it's easy, but you cannot say for certain about somebody being, let's say, black African or black Semitic unless you do the DNA test, because many people can have a kind of light skin, a red head, and say, yes, I'm Caucasian. No, man, you could be a Negroid from the C group that you don't even know. Or either you are a black Semitic, a Negro-Semitic with red hair, and your skin is getting lighter because you mix with the Indo-European or Caucasian. So it's very long, it's very interesting.
Yeah, for real. And this also brings us to understand, Marco, that in reality now, after all these years of evolution and mixing and all the history, whether it's fake or not, or it's partially fake or partially true, however, we mix it up everywhere in the world. So this speech you had, it makes me feel that it really is day by day less important the race, the real race question, the racist questions, because at the end of the day now we are understanding all these things, and also we are observing the reality, and we see that for example, evil people or good people cannot be assigned to a color or to a race, because we have stupid people in any color and very intelligent and smart and awakened people in any color. Do you agree with this?
Some point yes, because first of all, we are not all mixed. But even if you are a lot of mixed, look, there are today people like South Italian who have 12 haplogroup, 12 group and 12 haplogroup. Mm-hmm. But there's still people in Africa, we have 96, 100% of a single gene. And so even if you say it was the best thing to mix or not to mix, look, there is not a rule who's good for everybody, because
that's exactly what I was saying.
Now I tell you how the deal is.
Yeah.
Because if Black African, they keep intermixed with them, they will never have a genetic problem in the future. Same thing with the Semitic, but the Caucasian. If the Caucasian keep 100% Caucasian, never mix with someone else, they can really risk extinction. So Caucasian are forced really to do even a rape. They did even mass rape in the past. But they were forced to, because if they don't do, they could die. So even the intermixing, if Caucasian, they keep going their way without intermixing, they could get extinct. But this doesn't work for other. Also, I studied a lot of biochemical. Man, this will be really long, but really, already 2 years ago, I wrote already all the different incompatibility between the first the Neanderthal and the first sapien negroid in Africa, and also between the first Caucasian and the Negro-Semitic. And look, I say all the three different incompatibility, genetic incompatibility, 3 years ago. And just a couple of months ago, scientists start to realize just half of one of the incompatibility I fully wrote a long time ago. So really, I don't like to do the compliment by myself, but on my own, with a fucked up PC and no laboratory, no university, no shit, look, thanks to my scientific method and my logic that I started Karl Popper, Wittgenstein, Tarski, Carnap all my life, look, I get far, even before than all genetics of the world combined together. Just realize it now that Neanderthal couldn't have a child with a Negroid. Look, I said this three years ago. I tell also the reason why they cannot have it, also the reason why the Neanderthal, the Caucasian, cannot interbreed with the first Negroid and the Negro-Semitic. But that's another long history.
Yeah. Very nice, Marco. Really, what you just said is, is a new discovery, and really makes us think about our world, about our evolution, and this brings me to things about why maybe we are having all this immigration here in Europe, maybe for the same reason, because we white people, Caucasian.
The reason is to cover the truth, I tell you. They try to make European people hate Black African and Arab, because really it's a kind of funny, because when they know the truth, it will be fun. They make you hate because also at some point somebody get out and say, look, you
but
uncivilized, the black people civilized, they will try to reject. But I tell you, the reason of the violence of racists or Europe, I'm not saying all European are racist, I know, but
of course.
The reason of racism in Europe is the ignorance. Because if you know who you are, you're never gonna hate someone else. If you know who you are, if you know you are Caucasian or Black African, you're never gonna see somebody as a danger or as a peril. You know who you are. You know what them. I can tell you, African people know who they are and know who we are. Who they are, no. But European really is very funny, because they think they think about themselves the most civilized, the most intelligent, but they are exactly the opposite. They are the most ignorant, the most stupid, the most really troublemaker. They think they go around to civilize the world, but once they will know the real history, they were primitive, and black people civilized white people, not the other way. So Europe included twice, in Middle Age and in the Roman time. So really, the racist people, when they're gonna know the truth about who they were, who black people are, who Semitic people are, they will feel like shit, or they will get more violent. That's why I don't know how to say the reaction will be. It will be a kind of shock or trauma, individual, collective. We will have more hysteria. But now, I tell you, they try also a bit to fuck up with Europe for other reasons, but they try also to hide. I tell you this, Saddam Hussein, he put on the Baghdad Museum all the proof, the archaeology about who the real Hebrew are, and the war started before against Saddam, because the first thing they went, the secret special group, was to Baghdad Museum to steal everything, because really that will bring down all they will bring down the two main religions of Europe, but not Islam. They will literally bring down Judaism and Christian, but most of them Judaism, because at least Christian, if I tell you the real history of Christianity and everything, it's not as bad as they say. but the one who will really be affected will be the Judaism, because don't let me talk about that. And my Islamic religion must not be affected, because I tell you, Islam is a true religion, and I tell you, I say usually it is joke that Islamic people, they never change the written holy book, but what they change is the interpretation to time, and that's wonderful. A Catholic in Europe do exactly the opposite. They keep always the same doctrine, but they change the holy book. Really, we should do that like the Islamic people. We should keep our holy book untouched. We should change our way to think, our interpretation, not change the book. Yeah, change the time, you change the book to better do your stuff. So, as I say, so I don't want to put too many things against the Vatican, because many things of the past, exactly the same thing as today. Today they use religion, but the war is on petrol, gas, gold, and money, banking system, and they use religion as disguise. And man, that's exactly that's happened in the past many times. Like as I told you before, the iconoclast was not a holy image crap. It was to get rid of the black. Even many religious war in Africa, they say yes, used to kill, let's say, Muslim, but their objective were not the Muslim as people with the Muslim religion, but was the black Semitic or black African. If they won't get rid of them, they say, they are Muslim, let's kill them up. But look, it's very deep. Like I tell you, the same thing happened today. It happened many times before in Africa, Middle East, Europe too. It's very, in fact, that's why the last thing that I would like to roll is the European Middle Age. So if you talk really 1 minute, let me relax 1 second, and then I tell you the last thing about the European Middle Age.
We will go to the last bit. Okay, Marco, thank you very much for this. You bring out, you're always explosive, and I like to bring this information. I just keep this time to excuse to our listener if our English is not perfect, but of course we are Italian and we are trying to spread this information even in English, because we had previously recorded in Italian as well. Marco loves to spread information all around, and we talk about these strange things, strange discoveries that, yes, we are still under verification, because, of course, as you said, Marco, before, nobody maybe will catch up in this very moment. This will need time to be understood, to be verified, etc. But I think these discoveries about DNA and haplogroups around the world, it is really compelling at this time. Is needed. These things are coming out now, I think, because humanity wants to know the truth. So somehow is a good thing, even if many or someone, and I hope few people will be upset about this, to know the truth. This is a very big step to know, yes, our history, our past. And I think that these studies are coming up now just because now we have the technology as well to study this, Marco, because up to a few years ago we couldn't really examine our DNA and make so profound studies as we are doing now. So I think this really matches the time we are living in, and I really thank you for this, to bring up this information to us. So,
yes,
if you want to, complete your excursus with the last thing you want to add.
Yes, the last one, because really I'm very tired. I'm not... Really, a couple of years ago, I can talk really as much as Teddy Roosevelt, but right now, really, 1 hour, I really feel like...
You're getting aged, Marco. You're getting aged.
I'm getting old, yeah. So, but the last thing, I really want to say the last thing, because it's very important that now many people, they start to go public about the real Hebrew war, right? They focus on, let's say, slavery, ancient time, and almost nobody is talking about really something that... is not perhaps historically as important as the ancient time, but is practically even more important, because the truth about the Roman Empire, Greek Empire, the Middle Age is I don't know to say, with the practical consequences, very, very much more important to know that Abraham and Moses were black Semitic. I tell you, many people, they point on this, but they try to hide something. Like the people who try to point out on the slavery issue, I tell you what, they want to cover the fact that black people, both black African, Negro Semitic and Negroid, lived in South America for at least 100,000 years. So they want to convince you that the enslavement was the first time that black people was brought to the new continent. That's bullshit. They're living there for 100,000 years. So I'm not saying let's throw in the bin the slavery. I will never say that. But look, it's important. Let's talk about, of course. But don't fall in the mistake to think that this was the first time that black Semitic was brought in South America. I tell you, many, they point this way, so they want to, I don't know to say, hijack the fact that black people lived in South America long before the slave man. Black people are lived not before Christ or Columbus. They lived in there before even Abraham or Moses, perhaps even before Shem, the son of Moses. Really, is a very long issue. So everybody has, perhaps anybody could be in a good faith. So they're wrong, but because they don't really know the history of Roman Empire, Greek Empire, Middle Age. But someone else can try to point on that to put black people on the wrong direction. I tell you, I'm too smart for that, so nobody can mess with me. I study logic, scientific method, so really you can fool 100 people, 1,000 million people, but not even the team of the best scientists in the world combined can fuck with me, because really I study logic and scientific method, so there is no way that anybody can mess with me when it comes to scientific method. I'm so-called, I'm a kind of a the empirist, the so-called the neo-rationalismo creed, the neo-rationalism empirist, the doctrine founded by, let's say, Popper and Bertrand Russell, the one that combined the best of the empirism, the classic empirism of Britain, and the rationalism of the Europe. But obviously, the dorsal spine of the scientific method is the English empiricism. Rationalism, yes, it's interesting doctrine, but it's not much. The real important doctrine is the empirism. The empirism is the spinal dorsal of the scientific method. The rationalism, it's interesting, but anyway. So, and then the last thing that I like to say about the Middle Age. Look, this is getting funny too, because how basically, I'm going to try to be brief on this. How basically all the family, both royal, so king, queen, and nobility, so count, baron, in Europe, from Portugal, Spain to Russia, Poland, even Sweden, Norway, Italy, even Yugoslavia, everywhere in Europe, all royal and nobility family were black Semi, so Negro, not black African. So Roman Empire, in fact, that's important. You know the difference between Roman Empire and Holy Roman Empire. Roman Empire, they call like that because we're black African. The Holy Roman Empire of Charlemagne is holy because Charlemagne was a Negro, was a black Semitic, not a black African. So all the royal family of Europe of Middle Age were all black Negro, black Semitic, Negro people. So all the original, let's say, the Medici family were black. So all the House of Liechtenstein, House of Orange, so the royal family of Dutch. Also, King James I was a Negro, was a real Hebrew. So also all the Casada of, let's say, Aragon, so House of Aragon of Spain, all the Moorish dynasty, the royal family of Portugal, Spain, and South Italy were black Semitic. All the royal of even Russia, Poland, were all black Semitic. Why? Because, as I told you, all the Moorish dynasty were black Semitic. All the Byzantinum Empire was black Semitic, and South Italy was the only place in Europe that was influenced both by Moorish and by Byzantine. So that's why the South Italy 200 years ago was plenty of Negro Semitic blood and DNA, not only black African, and that's why they killed us. I'm sure about this. And so at some point, what's happened? He started that all black nobility and king in Europe were, this is a very long issue, but they were substitute with either killing, coup d'etat, golpe, or all the kind of, the bullshit happening in the palace, substitute literally by white people. And when this substitution ended up in 1600, they started the Renaissance with Michelangelo, Leonardo, to make everybody white, all the Charlemagne white, King Frederick II, they make it white, they make everything white. So in fact, white people ruled the world only for the 400 years. They want to make you believe the Sumerian, the Egyptians, you think the white people have been in charge of the world for thousands of years. Man, that's bullshit. Till the 400 years ago, the whole Europe was ruled, was not dictatorial. Man, with a black Semitic king or emperor of nobility in the whole Europe, we live peacefully. South Italy, before the unity, have 5 taxes. Can you believe? Now today we have 5,000, 5 million different taxes to pay. We had only 5 taxes in South Italy. King Frederick II from the house, even all the original House of Svevia, House of Norman, so all the Charlemagne, the Habsburg dynasty, they were all Negro Semitic people, also the Medici. The most powerful, important family, the Medici was the family who took Florence from the shit and bring where they are. It was a Negro, it was a black Semitic people. Also all the original Italian nobility, the Aldobrandini, the Orsini, the Lorraine family, but also the royal family of French, the King Charles, Charles V, as I say, King James I, Catherine I, even literally all of them were all Negro, as I say, were black Semitic, not black African. So they were all either killed, killed, and substitute with white people. And in the 1600, where everybody almost was white, they start this. And perhaps, I tell you, the first family to fall, let's say, to the whitewash was exactly the Medici family, because it was the most powerful family in the world at that time. And so I tell you, the speculative bubble of the 13th centuries, first of all, the 2000-day international fraud, the speculative subprime fraud, is a fucking copycat of the bubble of speculative of the 13th century. This was made to make the fall the Medici. So they start to remove the Negro family from Florence, then from North Italy, then they were all over Europe, and perhaps the last real Negro to fall was the Bourbon family, king family of South Italy. But even here is very kind of complicated, because the Bourbon of Spain, at some point, they changed and they become friends with the white British once they killed King James, and they do war to Napoleon. Napoleon was a good man, and that's why they did the war. But the Bourbon family in Spain was the bad one. It was friends with the British who make all the war of Europe, all the war. Don't let me go there. But the Bourbon, the royal dynasty on South Italy, till probably its last fall in 1860, still a wonderful, peaceful cause. Infatti, 200 years ago, even Voltaire, the most famous intellectual of the world, they all go to Napoli. Napoli was the number 1 city in the world for everything. Technology, metallurgy, building, construction, anti-seismic building. We were the number 1 in the world. And this thanks to cooperation between South Italian, black African, and black Semitic people. Look, that's why it's explosive combination. When I'm from South Italy, I feel, since I was a kid, I look black, I say, this is my bro. I'm his bro, I'm not the white. I felt my blood was telling you, man. And when we South Italy, we cooperate with black people, really, there's an explosive mix. Really. It's like Luciano Pavarotti when singing with James Brown or Bill King. Really, you get something that you say, look, that's it. Yeah, this is the top. There is no shit that you can do about it. Really. And you have no idea, really. My message to both black African and black Semitic, I say, look, especially to black Semitic, when you will know your real history of the past, you will understand that the people from South Italy are really kind of your brother. Many times, people of South Italy had the genocide because we help you when you're in trouble. the last century, even millennium, if somebody around the world helped the real Hebrew of the Black Semitic, then at some point they're gonna kill them. And the reason why the genocide of South Italy was because they helped both the Black Semitic and the Black African. As a matter of fact, look, South Italy, we always welcome everybody. We mean, look, I don't like to talk like this, but if I go around with a black man with me in my city, all the girls go to black man, not to me. You know that? Even if I go with a black woman in South Italy, oh look, a black woman, if you want to get an husband, man, really, you go to South Italy, you get a cure, really. We always welcome everybody. Look, we pay the price for it, but I'm proud of it, because really, anybody, sometimes even when Albanian people had a problem, they came to Bari. What do we do? We don't call the police. We help them out. We help them out. Albanian people love people from Bari because we really help them out. When they were in trouble, we help them out. We give them food. We give them house.
In the 90s, there was
from people. Really, when black people will know the real history of them, they will come to us in South Italy. We say, look, thanks for what you did in the past. We never know our history, so we don't know this. But look, we were really kind of very deep, not only 100,000 years ago. Because even as I told you, the first people to give the name Italy were black African. Even when Anzi, I tell you, the first name of Italy is not Italy, it's Ausonide. Because some of the first people to arrive in Italy after the glaciation were the people from Syria. But people from Syria a long time ago were Negro, were real Hebrew. And when they came, they have a problem, they ran away, they arrived to South Italy. Other people, they killed them. We people that did, we welcome a brother. And so that's why they were very happy. We straight become friends. I'm talking about no less than 4,000 years ago. And what's happened? These Syrian people, when they see the Calabria, because the first place they arrived was Calabria, and then also Puglia, because they look to them like a region in Syria called Ausonia, that's why they call it first Calabria, and then Italy Ausonide. Because it really looks like the Ausone. And that was the real name of Italy. Italy came just with the Etruvian people, the black African, but it was about 1,000 years after. Really, there is so much history in South Italy.
To discover.
Nicholas, that began black people. That I tell you what, the reason why all the neolitic sites, archaeological sites in Italy are totally abandoned, because if you go to study neolitic, we realize who were the Etrurian. So they kept abandoned, and they hope people go there and destroy, so they will destroy the race. And that's why I get mad. Look, stone can talk. A stone, you look at stone, you look at paint, you say, look the paint, bello, it's good, looks good, oh man, che bello, my man, you want to learn a single stone that teach you 1,000 times more than all the painting of Michelangelo combined together, really. A stone, if you study stone, they will tell you your real history. I studied a lot of this, even Castel del Monte, the octagonal castle, that was built by Frederick II from the House of Svevia. He was a Negro. He was a Negro Semitic people, a black king of South Italy. And look, the best king South Italy had over the last many thousand years, were always black, either black African or black Semitic. That's why I'm in debt with the black African, because we were uncivilized in South Italy. They came and they teach us literally everything to build. Even, do you think who built the Coliseum? White or black people? Who built the cathedral of the Duomo of Milano? The white people. So if they were white people, why they don't build today? They don't know what to do because they're fucking ignorant. Without the black people who teach them everything, they still hanging on tree and play with banana. Really. That's the truth. That's the truth, really. No shit. Whatever you study, go to archaeology. Every single piece of archaeology from Etruvian had depicted black people. Also in Greece. The real people who bring philosophy, mathematics, and science in Greek time, ancient time, were not white, were the black. Also the Spartans were black people. Also all the civilization of Greek, the Minosse civilization, the Santorini, the Minoan, were all either black African or black Semitic people. Even the real history of Greek Empire, if I tell you, would be because most of the time when there was the kind of contrast between Athens and Spartan, In Athens, they lived the Greco-Macedon people, which was either Caucasian with also some Semitic blood. But the Spartans were Negros and were not uncivilized, brutal warrior people. No, they were good to fight, but they're not primitive. They were good. For 300 of them, they fucked thousands of people, but they were not brutal or uncivilized. But anytime they want to talk shit about black civilization, they either say they were gay, they were uncivilized, they were stupid, they were dirty. No, man. They were, but even King James was black, he was not gay. To try to bring some bullshit to them, they say King James was gay. No, it was not. Oh, it was black Semitic. He was a man. How did he have the son? So, anyway.
Yeah. Look, fantastic.
Look, I can keep talking for ages. So let's.
Marco.
Talk better about many other things, because look, as you can see, look, I can tell you, I did by myself the full reconstruction of all the seconds of the last 350,000 years. Then I make the full reconstruction of all the people, all the different ethnicity, of all the, let's say, the Etrurian, the Phoenician, or the Carthaginian, of the last 30,000 years, both, let's say, people and politic, plus I did also the full reconstruction of all the people of the last 3,000 years, from the Greek-Roman Empire till now. So really, I can say, look, I know the history of every single sapiens who walk with, on this planet. Really.
Yeah. I know
even every single dynasty in Rome. I know which one of them was a black African, which one was a black Semitic, which one was a Caucasian. I know all of them really one by one. Really. Like Carthaginians were black African. Most of them, but Phoenicians were black African, but many of them were black Semitic. So you have even in Egypt, they were black African, but many emperors, many pharaohs were Negro, black Semitic. And sometimes the Egyptians didn't even know. Sometimes not even the king on his own knew he was black Semitic. Sometimes he knows only the ruling class of Egypt knew and the people not. But sometimes both the people and the king, black African of Egypt, knew that the king was a black Semitic. But look, a black African from Egypt, Egyptian, well, that's a real long history, because the real Egypt is not in Africa anyway, and the Negro, the black Semitic, they've been peacefully for many thousands of years. At some point, one pharaoh started to do the war against them, but before them, so the persecution is true, it's not as bad as they depict, but look, for many thousand years they were living together in force. Perhaps, let's we keep the other story to another episode.
Marco. Also because, yes, we cannot talk about 3,000 years of history in 1 hour or 2 hours, and so this is a path that really needs time. Anyway, you are very passionate about these arguments, I know, and I hope this emission will be heard, but many will be in contact with you on Facebook. I will leave any information to reach us. And I would like to tell, if someone has arguments and other stuff that wants to bring into our knowledge, please contact us so we can maybe have more of this emission in English for the world people, because basically we like to talk about things that real concerns everyone on the planet, because this information, Marco, does not belong to, belongs to everyone and can be useful for everybody. So it's not a question of state races or whatever. So who is open-minded enough to to have this information is very well welcomed. So Marco, you want to say hello to everyone? So you want to add everything more on this? I think you gave us many information. We have to ponder about it.
No, look, I'm very tired. So really, I just look, as I say, as always, my line, my way to do is always to bring empirical data on the table, so nobody can say, look, you just made up, or ask me a link or sources. But look, I tell you everything. What source? You ask me the link. Go find yourself if it's true. Hey, you ask to me if what I'm to tell you is
okay.
So what I'm telling you, look, I tell you this. I try to stick on the empiric data. So look, go find yourself. Go find, Etrurian archaeology, or go find about Constantine, the emperor. Go find about the black African Egyptian. go find out yourself, go about the Olmec, the sea. So start, don't use this 1 hour and a half as a finish point, but as a starting point,
as a starting
your own
point.
research.
Exactly.
There is really 1 hour and a half. Try to be
summarize. Yes, in fact,
possible,
I really thank you. I really thank you for what you did, because you really, this 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, you bring out on the table maybe dozens of hours of listening and readings that you did. So you try to compress everything, and it's not an easy task. So I really thank you very much for this, and I hope the listener will appreciate your effort.
I can tell you this, my kind of advice for people who like to start.
Please.
I say, look, before you start either religion or history, you have to study genetic first. But to better understand genetic, if you have some, let's say, some basic knowledge of logic, a scientific method, really, I'm not saying, look, I'm not asking you must study the third interpretation of the calculus of probability, otherwise get the fuck out of here. No, I say, look, at least you get the basic of logic, a scientific method, then you start genetic. I told you, the best professor, the Cavalli, Sforza, and Dr. Scozzari for me are the best, especially the Dr. Scozzari. Look, and then once you start logic, scientific method, then you go to genetic. Then once you go back to study archaeology, religion, history, you will understand in a much deeper way than the bullshit which goes around. You understand with your brain, not with someone else. If you want to know something, don't ask, study yourself. I left the school because I had no money, but if I had money at this time, I would have already 5 degrees, because I like to study. Since I left the school, I studied 10 hours a day every day. So the last 25 years, I've been studying no less than 10 hours a day every day. So really, I can say with no problem that nobody on the planet can fuck with me, not even Stephen Hawking with the MIT. Really, I'm myself. I study everything by myself. I study calculus, probability. I study everything. So really, scientific method, the history of the scientific method, all the main epistemology, Popper, Carl Raimund Popper. And look, the real people you have to study is Carl Raimund Popper, Alfred Tarski, Rudolf Carnap. We still teaching in the school the bullshit by idiots like Hegel, Marx, Freud. These people are idiots. Darwin. The theory of Darwin is a tautologic. It's a tautology. People use their brain. If you study logic, then when you go to study again the bullshit theory of Darwin, Freud, Marx, Hegel, you understand what kind of bullshit is. They talk about these people about the genius. That's bullshit. I tell you, allora, you want to know another thing? Many famous people, even artists like Beethoven, Mozart, Mozart was a Negro, Beethoven was a Negro, even Shakespeare was a Negro. You have no idea how deep this can go. I know all of them. So that's I say, look, nobody can fuck with me, but look, go yourself, have your way, start, never start. You have no excuse, start. I have no money when I was young. I work with the money, I buy the book. I never forget one my book, 70,000 lire, 75.000 lire. The first one of the first book, The Conjecture and Refutation of Carl Raimund Popper. It's 800 pages book. Man, that's really the Bible of the scientific method. I work myself to buy the book. When I had no money, I can go to school. So really, if you can, obviously I'm not going to tell you everybody, look, drop the school and study yourself, because look, I'm a genius, I can do that. Better go to school, so even if you don't agree, let's say, look, keep going to school and do your research after work. After work, if you really have to start something, you choose. The first thing when I left the school, I bought the Carl Raimund Popper books, all the conjecture and refutation, the logic of the scientific discovery, the logic der Forschung, all the open society and its enemy, the critic to Plato, Hegel, Marx, the two.
However,
you start by yourself. If you want somebody, look, study people who wrote about logic and scientific method. I tell you, my favorite are the best are Carl Raimund Popper, Alfred Tarski, the one who wrote the difference, the one who solved the problem of the scientific language by proving it doesn't exist such a thing as scientific language, or Rudolf Carnap, one who wrote the stability and meaning. But look, Rudolf Carnap, you open the page, the first thing he said, look, I would never wrote this book unless if I didn't read some theory of Carl Raimund Popper, also Ludwig Wittgenstein, Bertrand Russell. These are the genius, Nikola Tesla. these are the genius of our time, not the bullshit they teach at school. That's why I left the school, because I said, look, I don't know, fuck you. I start myself. I'm better than you. I'm better than everybody. Look, I start myself. I know what to do. I start logic and scientific method. So then I can prove everything right or wrong by myself. Don't need to go on Google.
Okay, Marco. Thank you very much. Thank you really for your explosive energy, and I really hope that many people that will listen to this emission will find out more on this topic and will improve their knowledge by individual research. Of course, in this period we are facilitated in this task because we also have internet. So really, the information, despite the mess we have on internet, because it's true that we have many information, but it's true also that we are many fake information and people that just works on that fakery just to build a money account. But this is another history. So I really hope anyone anytime will verify the information, or at least will try to verify it, and think about that with the logic and trying to comparing information with other sources to at least establish an objective information that could be verified. Well, Marco, thank you very much to be here. So thanks to our listeners, and we will see you around the world or on the social media. Bye Marco.
Ciao Emanuele, ciao everybody, Marco Bonifacio from Bangkok, but I'm from South Italy, man. You got it, man. Got it.